All right. Okay. Again, yeah, I don't know how time is running so fast. It's been again like 10 days, 2 weeks since I recorded the last video. Okay, so yeah, what have I been up to? Yeah, it's after the start of the semester. I think last class I mentioned the weeks are much shorter because it's like 2 days fully is gone into preparing and presenting a class. Like so, that's a lot of work actually. Uh, 2 full days, like literally, and I'm also like standing in front of people talking for like 5 hours, and then man, yeah, talking for 3 hours is really tiring. Like it's really you cannot do anything on that day. Anyway, so my class is from 1 to 4, so it's after 4 I anyway have to yeah, I cannot do anything. So yeah, so that is definitely a lot of work. Okay, so what have I been up to? I mean, the main thing I've been telling for a while is this WhatsApp main big paper that we've been working on for like 2 years now. I mean, more than 2 years, but the data is already there for 2 years. So, and it's on me, and I have some analysis, and now like I discuss with my co-author, and like he has some suggestions, and I go back and like, there's some other data that I have to collect, and like so there's a lot of bottlenecks in that. Not a bottleneck, it's just procrastination, and given like the mental like, space that I have, and um, it's really hard to find time. So every day I sit down and I want to work on that, but there's 20 other things that just take up my time, and including just wasting time, like I don't know, recording videos like this or just watching some other random YouTube shit. But yeah, so that's still there. Like that's still a big thing that I need to get done soon. But yeah, so that I haven't done. Uh, but yeah, I've been spending a lot of time on that. So basically, the main problem there is it's 2 years of work, right? Like so, there's so much stuff there. One thing is like, okay, you cannot, people will not pity you for dumping 50 results on them. So it's on you to first do the analysis. So you have to do all the analysis, all these, I don't know, there's probably like 100 different analysis. And each of those then requires like, okay, looking. So the main reason why there'll be 100 analysis is like there are these 20 different variables and they all interact with each other. So there's, user related variables, conversation related variables, group related variables, demographics, and then content modalities, like I don't know, and virality. So there's a bunch of factors like that, and all of them like so. Okay, how viral does political content get? But also, are Muslims consuming more videos? So there's all sorts of things that you can do, and that produces that just blows the space. And so now I have to like sit down and like not just do the analysis, but also do look at the output and like really look at what is interesting, how can I package it and things like that. And that is really like a much bigger mental drain. Obviously, also doing the analysis, like actually writing the code and making sure it's right. Like, I mean, now I'm using AI a lot there, but still I don't trust the AI. So it's a lot of work there. And that will create these sorts of avenues for procrastination, especially if it's a mentally straining thing. You really want to find some other shit, like, like, I don't know, these blog posts, for instance. I don't know if you haven't checked out my blog, kirangarimala.substack.com. You should check it out. So yeah, so I mean, those things are also taking a lot of time. Anyway, so basically the problem is there's so many results and you have to condense them, but you also have to structure it in a way that you get like papers that are good, but that are also not underselling your work. Like, so basically, if you split the papers too much, then it'll be like minor contributions, and I don't want that. I want maybe two, three papers at the most. But that's like really hard to like say, okay, this part goes here, this part goes here, this part goes here. And there's been a lot of back and forth. So I keep writing these drafts and then saying, oh, maybe it's not the right framing or like the right set of results, or this is too much, things like that. So I want to take this part and go here, but then I get lost in there and I'm doing something else. So anyway, so there's that really is like a lot of taking a lot of time, but I really, really need to finish this soon because it's already been super, super delayed. But it's all on me. If it was on a student that I would have happily advised, like, but yeah, now that I have to do it, it's really hard. So that's the big problem. So that was one big thing, like that I really am struggling. Like, I mean, still have like a promise to do something last week. I did not do that uh, to my co-author. Like, and now I promised him next. But yeah, now like the weeks are like just 3 days, and 2 days I'm just teaching. So I have to be very disciplined in those 2 days and like find time and not procrastinate. I mean, that's a really big one, especially in these sorts of mentally challenging tasks. So that's one. And then there's this the bunch of projects around like AI and ChatGPT usage data. We have a lot of data there. ChatGPT survey, I mean AI usage survey. We have a lot of data there. So on some of them are like I want to find someone who can work on it, but I need to first do a lot of work in preparing these data sets, making sure that, okay, firstly it's properly anonymized, then it's properly formatted. So there's like, I don't know, it's very, I don't know, maybe I talked about this last week. So we have this project where we're collecting ChatGPT logs as well as like Google takeout data. So, YouTube, Google search, Gemini, Google Play, like a bunch of things like that. And the problem there is like super rich data, but super private data. So I have to anonymize that. Okay, I had some anonymization scripts, but the problem there is now only some users have some data. So I have to structure it in a way that, is usable, like and format it and have these same IDs match and like get the demographic data which is stored somewhere else and things like that. So that again, that takes like some work. And then I was trying to look at it myself, like again, that's a procrastination thing. Obviously, I mean, I have to look at that data myself as well. Like, but yeah, I was trying to do that. That I spent like a day or so, all full day, just looking at the ChatGPT history logs and like, okay, because now these tools exist, building some nice front-end tools to explore like the ChatGPT data and the YouTube, Google search kind of data. And I mean, there's a lot of interesting questions. So yeah, that's one area where I really don't have the resources or time to do it now. But yeah, I think that's one thing. And then the final thing is this blog post. So, I mean, I think it was a good one, like maybe one of my good ones, like because there's lots of like mediocre or junk ones that are under pressure. So at some point I said like, okay, I spent a lot of time. So basically I wrote a post on academia and like AI, and it started with like more of self-reflection. So basically the point that I'm making there is now if you have the data, like analysis is super cheap. Like you can easily do analysis with like Claude Code or whatever. I'm now running like a couple of analysis in the background while I'm talking here. So you just describe what you want to do and it'll go and do that. And it's pretty reliable at this point. So a lot of this used to be what PhD students did. So my point, there are a bunch of points there, but one of the points is, okay, now that analysis is cheap, so your mode should be different. Like, and obviously now that that analysis is cheap, producing papers will be easier, producing papers of a certain type, like my type. And I am producing a lot more than what I could if I was working on my own, but now I have these, different agents that do my work. So I was reflecting on like what it means for quality of work and like all of this kind of stuff. And I had some suggestions there, which are, I mean, it was started off as an idea that, what am I using it for? But then it was like this sort of preachy thing, oh, academia should do this and that. I was really scared of writing, like putting it out because who am I? Like nobody is coming and saying, oh, academia should do this and that. And at the end, like I just couldn't. I mean, I spent like 2 weeks on that. 2 weeks, as in like I wrote an initial draft, and then I spent an hour here and there, and an hour here and there, and eventually, I at that Friday, I said 2 weeks ago, I said, okay, I will not publish it because it's shit, and then I sat again like half a day or so, just really was thinking about it, like and tried to condense it and kind of reformat it. Yeah, in the end, I think it's still like it's not great, but it was okay. I think it's still like maybe one of the good, like decently thought through pieces. So that was good. Like, but that took a lot of time. But I mean, these things usually don't pay off immediately. But anyone I meet is like saying, "Oh, I read your stuff," and I'm like, "Okay, thank you. That's that's good." And I mean, this is a hard thing to balance. Like, okay, obviously, if you are generating junk with AI, like people will see through it and like they will not like it, like they will discount anything else I write. And I've done that. But you also at the same time can, I mean, at least for someone like me, who has some thoughts but cannot articulate it well, or takes a long time for me to write it down. Like I can just use AI to frame it and then write it out. But not all thoughts come out well with AI. Like for instance, I have a thought, and maybe okay, obviously the thought could be shared, but also the AI framing could also be shared. Like so for instance, I had this idea on Moldbook for like 2 3 weeks now, but or OpenClaw, but the yeah, I mean, it's not very well formed. Like it's decently formed, but I don't have the proper evidence for that. So it's again, like so it's in that kind of stage where I think it'll pay off to write these, like spend like maybe half a day a week or something like that. But still, again, that's taking away time from a lot of this other stuff that I should potentially be doing, like, which is like research. But anyway, so that's part of what I've been spending time on. Uh, yeah, and then I also have been spending time on. So we have this survey on generative AI use. So previously, I had run a version of it, which is just an online sample, and there we got. So this is in India. So how are people using generative AI for work, outside work, things like that? And yeah, we find like, I don't know, 80% usage for generative AI, which is like super high for India. And I think, okay, obviously that's because it's an online sample. So I had an offline sample added, like with a lot of people. And what I find is that, yes, it is like if you add the offline rural sample, then it's much more realistic. Like I think around 40% or so generative AI at work, things like that. Like, so it's again, that is something that I'm doing. Obviously, I'm using AI to do it, but it's still on me to write that, like, like, get the type of analysis I want and all of that stuff. So that was another project. But yeah, I mean, at this point, I don't have a plan for publishing that. It's just more like a open, just posting it on social media and seeing what people think. I don't know if people will even like it, but yeah, that is that. And yeah, I mean, I still have a bunch of thinking to do on the ChatGPT data. So we have data for now 4 countries, around 1,500 users. So India is the biggest one, around 700 users. Then Pakistan, Bangladesh, Nigeria, and Brazil. ChatGPT usage logs from all these 4 countries, around 1,500 users together total. So we were doing some very simple like replication of existing work. So, OpenAI's paper, Anthropic's paper, and things like that, but also doing more analysis. Like, so we find like, oh, there are lots of medical queries, there are lots of personal health related queries, things like that, so, like mental health related queries. So yeah, that paper I still have to do some thinking. It's on my desk. So there's a student who's doing the analysis, but I have to do the framing and thinking. So that is still there. Yeah, I mean, I also want to write a blog post this week. I don't know if I'll write it, but on what are my plans for this year? Obviously, 2 months have already passed since I've been thinking of writing this plan. But the main problem there again is just this sort of Okay, I have the plan in mind. I have it. I don't know. You cannot see it probably, but yeah, it's written up there as well. Like there's some nice buckets of types of work I want to do, and there's example projects. But the main thing is just, mm, yeah, like putting it down, like really thinking about it. Anyway, so I think it's a bit longer already, but yeah, thank you, and yeah, see you next week, hopefully.